Thomas Ricks spent his professional career writing about serious subjects for the most respected newspapers in the country. Now retired and living part of the year at his home in Deer Isle, he has just published a work that is something different for him, a crime novel. It's called Everyone Knows But You. The story is set in Maine, which is not surprising. Ricks loves the state and has been coming here since he was a boy. And while he was in college, he worked in Aroostook County marking trees for a paper company.
I couldn't believe that people would pay me to walk through the woods. Now, when I got to T7R5, Township 7, Range 5, I found out why. It was a giant swamp, and I spent most of the summer there, just covered in black flies and mosquitoes. I would reach up behind my ear and just bring down wads of blood and bugs.
That would have been a really unusual summer job for a kid like you who didn't live in that part of the state year-round.
I wanted to work in Maine, and by the end of the summer, I looked like I was one of the bears from the woods. I remember me and a bunch of my fellow timber markers one Saturday night for fun went to the Holiday Inn, I think in Caribou, just to get a drink and live. And the bartender looked us up and down as we walked in, and he said, "Here's the deal. I'll give you boys a free round. You leave as soon as you finish it." And I felt like saying, dude, I'm an English major at Yale. But we must have looked pretty rough.
After a distinguished career in journalism, Tom Ricks moved a few years ago here to Deer Isle. Having had enough of covering politics and government and the military, he was ready for something different.
I said, I'm going to write a book for fun. And I'd always had this thought that it would be fun in a mystery novel to have a situation in which everyone knows what happened, but the poor guy investigating it. And I thought, well, an island on the coast of Maine would be a good place to put that. This is an FBI man from away, literally from California. And at one point, the local drug dealer says to him, dude, people know what happened here, why don't you?
With that idea, Rick sat down to write. The novel, set on a fictional island a lot like Deer Isle, is called Everyone Knows But You.
The FBI investigator realizes, in order to figure out what happened, I have to understand this place. And so the culture of Maine becomes a major character in the unfolding of the story and how the plot works.
It must have been fun for you to write about that atmosphere.
I love Maine. And I think what this book is, in retrospect, it's a love letter to Maine wrapped in what looks like a conventional mystery novel.
The book is set in this area, sometimes fictionalized a little bit, sometimes not. Obviously, it didn't require a huge leap of imagination for you to get the setting right.
What I tried to do was say, okay, it's like Deer Isle, but it's not Deer Isle. It's partly because I didn't want people saying, hey, Tom, you had a turn right at the top of the hill. That's a left turn. Tom
Ricks covered the U.S. military for the Washington Post from 2000 to 2008. Among the stories he reported on extensively during that time, the attacks of 9/11 and the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. We happened to interview him on the anniversary of 9/11, and I asked him about the legacy of the U.S.'s invasion of Iraq.
I still think the Iraq War, I wrote a couple of books about it, one of them being Fiasco. I still think the Iraq War was a tragic mistake in American history. We spent trillions of dollars there. We lost a lot of American lives there and many more Iraqi lives. Nobody knows how many Iraqi lives. And I don't think we have a lot to show for it. We certainly have not brought peace to the Middle East, which was the stated purpose, that we were going to make Iraq a beacon of democracy that would transform the Middle East. The Middle East right now is a hellhole. So we didn't do much there. We did exactly what the terrorists wanted. We overreacted, we panicked, we did things we shouldn't have done.
I could obviously talk to you all afternoon about that, but I don't want you to deliver a seminar just for me.
I can kind of feel the PTSD rolling back.
Yeah.
I actually wrote a piece about this for the New Yorker, what I did on the anniversary, the 10th anniversary of 9/11. I was very conscious of it, September 11th, 2011, so 13 years ago. And I planned it out. I actually kayaked up over on Cape Rosier. There's a reversing river there that has rapids on it. And I went up there alone with a lunch, and I paddled up the river. I sat and had my lunch, and then I came back out and said, okay, I'm over. That's it. I've given 10 years of my life to 9/11 and its consequences. It's time to move on.
Tom Ricks still follows military affairs closely. He regularly reviews military history books for the New York Times. Again, the title of his new novel, set in Maine, is Everyone Knows But You.